Welcome to Job Bridges Japanese Language Training Center. We provide an online tutorial for people who aspires to work in Japan. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons to help you master Japanese language in no time. Konnichiwa! Hello! Welcome back to Job Bridges Japanese Language video tutorials, and in this lesson we'll be discussing about lesson 17. In lesson 17 we'll be discussing about the verbないforms and of course the sentence pattern where we'll be using the verbないforms. Are you ready? So let's start with the verbないform. So verb form used with theないis called theないform. That is to say, kaka of kakanai is theないform of kakimasu or to write. So how do we make theないform of the verbs? So remember that the verbs or the Japanese verbs are divided into three groups. We have the group 1 wherein their mass form ends with the E line. The group 2 wherein the mass form ends with the A line. And the group 3 or those that are actions or nouns denoting actions. And of course, the special one which is the kimasu. Now let's discuss group 1. In the verbs of this group, the last sound of the mass form is always at the sound of the E line, as I've said before. So to replace it with the sound of the A line to make theないform. Example, the E line will be replaced by the A line. So what are the letters that are under the A line? We have the ka, sa, ta, ma, na, ra, wa, and so on. The exception to this rule are such verbs wherein or such as kaimas and aimas, wherein the E line will be changed into wa, then we have to add the nai. Okay, so for you to better understand what I'm talking about or to change the group 1 into the nai form, let's take a look at our example. The first one, we have kakimasu or to write. So the last sound before the mas is ki, and then you have to change that into its counterpart in the A line which is ka, and then add nai. So kakimasu will be kakanai. Wakarimashita ka? Now next example, we have yomimasu. Again, yomimasu, to read. So how does yomimasu or how do we change yomimasu into its nai form? The last sound before the mas is mi, right? So what is the A line counterpart of mi? Of course, it's ma. So we drop the mas, change mi to ma, then add nai. So yomimasu will be yomanai. Again, yomanai is the nai form of yomimasu. Next example, torimasu, to take. So again, drop the mas, then change the ri to its a counterpart or A line counterpart which is ra. So torimasu will become toranai. Again, toranai. Now, this one, suimasu. Okay, suimasu, to smoke. Okay, in this part, whenever the last sound before the mas is exactly the E line or the E, we have to change it into wa. Alright, not a, but wa. Okay? So, in this one, in suimasu, drop the mas, change the E to wa, then add nai. So, it becomes suwanai. Again, suwanai. Now, let's move on to isogimasu, to hurry. Drop mas. Again, drop the mas, change the gi to ga, then add nai. So, isogimasu will become isoganai. Again, isoganai is the nai form of isogimasu. Now, next, asobimasu, to enjoy oneself. So, drop the mas, change the b into its A line counterpart which is ba, then add nai. So, asobimasu will become asobanai. Again, asobanai. Now, machimasu. What is the line counterpart of chi? Alright, it's ta. So, in machimasu, drop the mas, change the chi into ta, which is its line counterpart, then add nai, it will become matanai. Again, matanai. Then last example for group 1, hanashimasu, to speak. So drop the mas, then change the shi to its a counterpart, which is, what was it? Alright, very good, sa. Then add nai, so hanashimasu will become hanasanai. Wakatamin na? Kantan desho? Just remember, alright? Change for group 1, change the e line of the mas form into a line, then add nai to make it into a verb nai form. The exception is the e, which is you will have to change it into wa, then add nanai. Got that, everyone? Remember that. Now let's move on to group 2 verbs. So this is the easiest one to transform into nai form. So the nai form of the verbs of this group is just the same as the mas form. You just have to drop the mas, then add the nai. Example, tabemas will become tabenai. Just drop the mas, then add nai. And then mimas, minai. Easy, isn't it? Other examples could be misemas, to show, which will become misenai. And from the special verbs, we have the okimas, to get up, it will become okinai. What else? Tarimas, to be enough, will become tarinai, and so on. See, group 2 is very easy, right? Now for the group 3, these are the nouns denoting actions wherein we just have to add shimas and the special kimas. Shimas will just become shinai, and then kimas will automatically become konai. So example, benkyo shimasu. Okay, just add the mas and then add nai. So benkyo shinai. For shimas, to do, it'll just become shinai. And then, as I've said before, kimas is automatically konai. Alright? So, other examples would be sentaku shimasu. To do laundry, it'll become sentaku shinai. Wakarimashita minasan? Group 2 and Group 3 are very easy, right? Now, since you already know how to transform verbs into their nai form, let's start using them in a sentence pattern, shall we? So the first sentence pattern that we'll be discussing is the verb nai form nai de kudasai. Again, verb nai de kudasai. Or it means please don't. If you remember, we've discussed please do in the other lesson or in the former lesson. Now let's talk about the verb nai de kudasai, or please don't. So this expression is used to ask or instruct someone not to do something. Again, to instruct or ask someone not to do something. Example sentence, watashi wa genki desu kara shinpai shinai de kudasai. Again, watashi wa genki desu kara shinpai shinai de kudasai. So in English, I am fine, so please don't worry about me. So if you can see from shinpai shinai de kudasai, okay, so shinpai is from shinpai shimasu, which means to worry. But then again, we are asking that person to please don't worry. So we transform shinpai shimasu into shinpai shinai and then add de kudasai, which make it shinpai shinai de kudasai. Wakarimashita? Now, another example. Koko de shashin o toranai de kudasai. Again, koko de shashin o toranai de kudasai. Or please don't take pictures here. So from torimasu to take a picture, okay, we transform it into its nai form, which is toranai, then add de kudasai because we are asking someone not to do something. So, or not to take pictures. So, it will become toranai de kudasai. Wakarimashita minasan? Wakatta ne. Now, the next sentence pattern using nai form of the verb is Vないform of the verbなければなりません. Actually, guys, this is one of my favorite sentence pattern in Japanese language. Again, it's verbないformなければなりません. Why is it my favorite? Because this means you must. Alright? You must. So this expression means something that has to be done regardless of the will of the actor. Note that this doesn't have a negative meaning, alright? Even if, okay, that regardless if the actor doesn't want to do it or he or she wants to do it, this doesn't have a negative meaning. Why? Because, as I've said, this means must. Something that you must do. Example, kusuri o nomanakereba narimasen. Again, kusuri o nomanakereba narimasen. Or in English, I must take medicine. So note how we change the domimas, which is to drink, into nai form first, which is nomanai. Then add kereba narimasen. Again, it's nomana kereba narimasen. You have to drop the E of the nai, then add kereba narimasen to make it a must. So what are the other sentence examples that we can make from verb na kereba narimasen? How about you must study? Again, you must study. So how should we transform that into a Japanese language? Alright, it's benkyou shinakereba narimasen. Did you get that right? How about you must eat? Or let's make it a bit difficult. You must eat breakfast. Again, you must eat breakfast. Very good. It's asagoa no tabe nakereba narimasen. Again, asagoa no tabe nakereba narimasen. Did you get that, everyone? I hope you do. Now, another sentence pattern that we can construct using the verb nai form is verb nai form nakotemo ii desu. Again, verb nai form nakotemo ii desu. Or in English, you need not to, or something that you don't need to do. So this sentence pattern indicates that the action described by the verb does not have to be done. You don't need to do this. From the past lesson, we've discussed the sentence pattern you can or you may, while in this one, you don't need to. Example, ashita konakote mo ii desu. Again, ashita konakote mo ii desu. Or you don't have to come tomorrow. Note that in this example, where the action is kimasu or to come, and then you're instructing your listener that he or she doesn't need to come. So we transform the kimasu into konai, then drop the e, then add kotemo ii desu to make it you don't have to come, or konakotemo ii desu. What are the other things, or what are the other sample sentences that we can construct from this? So, how about saying you don't have to wake up early? Now, I know everyone wants to hear that. Again, you don't have to wake up early. How do we translate that into Japanese? Alright, it's hayaku for early. Hayaku okinakote mo ii desu. Again, hayaku okinakote mo ii desu. From okimasu, and then it's under group 2, so we just have to drop the mas, add nai to oki to become okinai, then add kotemo ii desu. So, okana kotemo ii desu. Wakarimashita? When you have to say that they don't have to eat, tabe na kotemo ii desu. They don't have to drink, noma na kotemo ii desu. You don't have to read, yoma na kotemo ii desu, and so on. Now, let's discuss noun, which is an object, wa. Noun, wa. So, I know I've taught you in lesson 6 that the particle o is attached to the direct object of verbs. However, here, the object is made as a topic by replacing o with wa. Listen to the example. Koko ni, so typically this is our sentence, or this is how you construct sentence based on what you've learned in lesson 6. Koko ni nimotsu o okanai de kudasai. Again, koko ni nimotsu o okanai de kudasai. Please don't put parcels here. Now, here, when you want to make the nimotsu or the parcel as your topic, you could construct it as this. Nimotsu wa koko ni okanai de kudasai. Again, nimotsu wa koko ni okanai de kudasai. As for parcels, don't put them here. See how we made the nimotsu in this second sentence as the topic, while in the first sentence, it's just the direct object of the verb. Wakarimashita minasan? Wakatta ne. So, to avoid confusion, or if you're still confused, here are the other examples using the noun object wa. Kaisha no shokudo de hirogoan o tabemasu. So, that's how you usually construct the sentence, right? Again, Kaisha no shokudo de hirogoan o tabemasu, or I have lunch in the company cafeteria. And there's another way of constructing it, or if you want your lunch, alright, or your hirogohan as the topic of your sentence or your conversation, you could construct it like this. Hirogohan wa kaisha no shokudo de tabemasu. Hirogohan wa kaisha no shokudo de tabemasu. As for lunch, I have it in the company cafeteria. See the difference? Now, I want to discuss to you the noun, which is time. Made ni verb. Again, noun, which is a time, or a day, or a month, or a week. Made ni verb. Noun, made ni verb. So, the point in time indicated by made ni is the time limit by which an action is to be done. Or in short, this is your time limit, or your, how do you call that? Deadline. Alright, this is your deadline. And then you cannot do whatever verb being discussed within that time limit. Example, kaigi wa 5時までに終わります. Or again, 会議は5時までに終わります. The meeting will be over by 5. By using までに, it means that the meeting will end exactly by 5 and will not exceed that. Next example. 土曜日までに本を返さなければなりません. Again, 土曜日までに本を返さなければなりません. I must return the book by Saturday. So using 土曜日までに, meaning that the time limit of the speaker is just until Saturday and he or she must not exceed in returning the book by Saturday. Okay? Now, take note that you must not confuse made ni with the particle made. Wherein you've learned, for example, saying 5時まで働きます. Right? 5時まで働きます. So what's the difference between the two? When you say like 5時まで働きます, you work until 5, but that time can be exceeded. Like your boss can give you an overtime, or maybe you could go home earlier than 5 o'clock. But made ni, that is just the time limit, or that is already the time limit or the deadline, and it will not exceed that anymore. Wakarimashita? Alright, that's just it for today. See you on our next videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated on our lessons so you can master Japanese language in no time.